Stephen Jones sits down with us here on the tennis courts. How's everything going, sir?
Everything's great. How can you beat this?
Oh, it's
this
fantastic.
weather's off the charts, and of course, dodged a major bullet yesterday, so we're smiling ear to ear. We said we're not going to gripe about anything else after, because we thought we were dealing with a season-ending knee injury with Tyler when we last saw him, and then Dr. Cooper's one of the best in the business, and he doesn't miss many of them, but he was glad to call us and say, I was wrong on this.
All right, so take us through what it was like, because I know Cowboy Nation and Twitter was just, the first reports, it's torn out for the season. So for that length of time, everybody in Cowboy Nation, what was it like for you guys when you first heard the initial report thoughts and then got that phone call?
You were hoping it was a nightmare. You want to go back to bed, wake up, start over again, I can assure you. But no, I was sitting with Jerry when I got the text, and I just yelled out, I go, oh, my God, it's not torn. What? So it was, we did live with it for about 3 or 4 hours while we were waiting to get him down to get the MRI and then get the results back. And but anyway, like I said, it was some of the best news we ever did. Long time.
4 to 6 weeks isn't bad.
No, the whole season. Stephen, just a question for you along those same lines. He's going to miss the rest of training camp, so other guys are going to be stepping in there and taking those reps. How much does it hurt a guy like Tyler Guyton to miss the reps of training camp?
Well, obviously you want the alternative, which is to get him, because he was doing so well and really responding, I think, to our coaches, Clayton and Connor, and they were really. How they were coaching him up was resonating with him. Not that Coach Laurie didn't do a great job with him too, but guys from the first year to the second year make jumps, and he was certainly showing that he was going to do that. He was displaying the patience. He was, he's got to start to trust his length and his athletic ability, which he has in, nines. He's a supreme in those areas, and once he started trusting that, getting his confidence. He's really coming on, and I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So I think he'll do everything that it takes in rehab, and I think he'll be ready to jump right back in and get right where he was and get going and help us win a lot of football games this year, hopefully.
And you think about the 3 or 4 hours you thought he might be gone for the season, and the conversations of what do we do next? Can you go find somebody at this point, or are there some young guys that are now going to get the benefit of the reps with the first team here at camp that you're hoping could step up and be that guy?
Well, that's what you always hope happens. And, of course, we've got a guy we picked last year, Nate Thomas, who's really turning some heads in that offensive line room. And he's probably going to be the first up out there at left tackle to go out there and go to work. And you hope he just keeps on keeping on and, excelling, and then, something really good can come out of this. So, and then we've got other players at Denijay and, some guys who played this game, Awesome Richards. He's a young guy who we've liked who needs to step up for us. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys do.
Stephen, we're looking just around the league, and obviously we follow you guys, and there's been some injuries. Kalen Carson now out 4 to 6 weeks, and some other guys as well, Jones with the broken neck. But it seems like it's happening all over the place. You're seeing guys, Isaiah Likely with Baltimore gets carted off today. Can you attribute that to anything? Is it I always say, I don't know. I remember watching the NFL when Bill Parcells was here, and it was kind of tough and physical in training camp. And it's not that way anymore, and I understand why. But do you think that has anything to do with it?
I don't think so. I just think it's I think, for one, the coverage of these things are like no other, which is wonderful. It's just out there. As soon as somebody gets hurt, it's blinking everywhere. And between social media, between all the wonderful coverage that we get and the NFL gets, I just think it feels like it's more. But I think these things have always happened. I can remember when we first started going all the way back. You're going to have injuries in training camp, and they're tough, but you gotta power through them.
Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Now, another injury. He's here, not practicing on the PUP list, Trayvon Diggs. The one thing that what's the timeline on when do you think he's going to be back?
I think it's just getting a feel for him over the next, another week or two. We should have a really good feel, for when we can get him back. He's working at it. Hats off to him. Obviously, our preference would have been to have him here the whole time, and in our mind, we got one of the best in the business. But anyway, I think he's really the competitor in him's coming out. He's wanting to be out there competing, and we'll probably have a better feel for that over the next week to 10 days.
Well, obviously, that's a big decision that you guys have to make, and whether you think he's going to be ready to start the season or not, or whether he misses the first 4 games. Is that just something you guys continually watch?
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, it's a continuation, and obviously, what you hope in the meantime are guys like Kyrie Elam and Booth, and who was having a good camp before he tweaked his hamstring, but. Obviously, Carson is a guy that we liked last year who's going to be out a little bit, but you hope these guys step up. And then another one we're monitoring is Revel. We just think the world of him and really think he's going to be a hell of a player in this league, but he's we're on that same thing. When do we think we'll get him back? Now, I'm, 99% sure he'll be, back in the next couple of weeks. But then, he's a rookie, so it's going to take a minute for him to get used to it and what it's like to be a pro and those type of things. But, all 32 deal with this and with the injuries and, nobody's immune from that. And you just got to, keep, your personnel guys looking for corner. We had a corner workout, obviously, yesterday, and you're just always looking for ways to get better.
And every team's not immune from dealing with contract situations.
No.
You were wondering when we were going to get to Micah, right? Are there conversations constantly happening, or there's reports that there's no communication? What can you actually share with us?
Not much, because it's not good for anybody to vet these negotiations in the media. I mean, no one ever knew Jake Ferguson was doing a contract, and that's usually how they work best is you're just working behind the scenes, and there's always strategy. Every agent, every player is different in terms of what their tolerance level are for things. We respect them all. I like to think I got a great rapport with, most agents in this league. But every one of them's different. Every negotiation's different because the player's different, and the agent has to handle that player, in the best possible way he can. But, it's just part of it. As you said, it's going on around the league, and, it happens.
Stephen, you said something interesting the other day that Micah has to want to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by that?
I think I've said all I'm going to say for now
right.
on Micah. Obviously we got nothing but huge, tremendous respect for him and the talent he is. But, like I said, it's just not productive. Anytime you happen to slide in over there, it's not productive to talk about.
Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys here on the Blitz. We got in on Saturday for our coverage. We come out when the pads go on. The energy around camp, we've heard from our friends in the Dallas media that it feels different. And we've been here seeing a couple practices. It does. What was it about Shotty in the interview process that won him the job? Because, promoted from within and all, but I mean, he sold you on something, and you could see the difference. You can feel the difference. Do you feel it from your seat?
Yeah, it's full body of work, and there's no question the energy, it's unique. I mean, you don't see that, and I think he's really brought something different to the table here. I mean, we all observe camps around the league, and there's clips from them, and you see a pick, and the guys go, good job. With our guys, it feels like every coach, every player is running down the sideline, jumping up and down, and then there's the jawing back and forth with the offense and the defense. And, I just think it's unique. But the biggest thing with him is it's authentic, too. It's not some deal that, it's a show or something like that. He's authentically and intentional about what he's trying to do here between the competition and the energy. I just think it's special. We were Mike's offensive coordinator. Mike called the plays, but we were in the room with him a lot after every game, and he would do. Mike encouraging him to give the reports on the offense, and he's impressive. And certainly, then once he started figuring out, because we meet with our coordinators at the end of every year just to get their feel for where they think we need to do, where we can get better as a team, the things we need to do. And then I think Shotty started finally figuring out, hey, they're asking a lot of questions here. I may be in an interview. And then next time he showed up in a sport coat. And but no, he's got a magical way about himself. And obviously we all know the important things with Shotty and all of us is going to be, we got to go out and win football games. And certainly we got a big one to start the season.
Yeah, no question about it. I've got to ask you, one of the best things about us in the media is that he's pretty transparent up there on the podium. And one thing that impressed me yesterday, he said, we're going to run the damn ball this year. Running back wise, it seems to me that room has been upgraded tremendously.
Yeah, we feel the same way. Certainly, hats off to Rico. He ran the hell out of the ball for us. But we do feel like when you take the room as a whole, we've got a really nice group of backs, and they're all business. I think they all complement one another, and I just think we got a chance to be really good there. And I'm convinced a lot of coaches will give you lip service, but I'm convinced Shotty means that we're going to run the football.
Nice. I like that.
Stephen, as we wrap this up, probably the most important question of the day. It's National Wing Day. Drums or flats?
Drums all the way, baby.
Drums all the way.
Drums all the way.
There's a follow-up to that. You like it breaded or naked?
I like it naked.
See, I do too. Yeah. All
Spicy and naked.
There you go.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen, always appreciate you stopping by. Can't wait to continue to have you on during the season, and thanks for continuing to come out here to Oxnard.
Appreciate it.
Work.
Well, here we go. Like I said, I can't think of a better place to be working.
Absolutely. It is a perfect place to be working. That's what we're doing with our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training coverage.